Among older adults, leg cramps are a fairly common condition, especially at night or after light physical activity. These sudden muscle contractions, lasting from a few seconds to several minutes, not only disrupt sleep but also cause distress, pain, and a noticeable decrease in mobility. While age, dehydration, chronic illnesses, and neuromuscular disorders are well-known causes, diet, an often overlooked factor, can have a profound impact. Certain familiar foods, if not properly managed, may silently disrupt electrolyte balance, impair blood circulation, or hinder mineral absorption, all of which can trigger leg cramps more frequently. Below are 7 groups of foods that seniors should avoid or limit in order to sustainably and effectively manage this uncomfortable condition. 1. Salty foods, the invisible culprit behind persistent cramps and mineral loss in seniors. Salt, or more precisely, the habit of eating salty foods, is a hidden culprit quietly harming the body every day. As people age, their taste preferences often change, and many seniors gravitate toward more intensely flavored foods, particularly traditional dishes like braised fish, pickled vegetables, concentrated fish sauce, instant noodles, or processed meats like sausages. These foods contribute to a vicious cycle in which leg cramps become more frequent, more intense, and longer lasting, especially at night or after mild activity. Sodium is an essential electrolyte for the body, playing a key role in fluid balance and neuromuscular signaling. However, when consumed in excess, the body is forced to excrete it through the kidneys, which also leads to the loss of other crucial minerals, potassium, magnesium, and calcium, that are essential for smooth muscle contraction and relaxation. Deficiencies in these minerals reduce muscle elasticity, making them more sensitive and prone to cramping, even from minor changes like rolling over in bed or taking a few steps. Beyond mineral loss, excess salt can elevate blood pressure and damage small blood vessels, particularly in the lower limbs, where circulation already declines with age. When blood flow is insufficient, muscle tissues are deprived of oxygen, accumulate lactic acid, and become prone to stiffness and cramping. The situation worsens when seniors drink too little water, leading to intracellular dehydration and making muscle cells dry out and overreact. A Japanese study found that seniors consuming more than 6 grams of salt per day were twice as likely to experience muscle cramps compared to those eating less than 4 grams per day. Clear evidence of the link between high salt intake and muscle spasms. Notably, many traditional foods, such as dried fish, fish sauce, braised pork, fermented shrimp paste, and soy sauce, contain very high sodium levels. Regular consumption of these foods not only increases the risk of cramps, but also burdens the kidneys, the body's key organs for electrolyte regulation. When kidney function is compromised, the risk of cramps rises further. To reduce this risk, seniors should adjust their cooking habits, gradually decrease salt usage, and replace it with natural flavor enhancers like onion, garlic, ginger, or turmeric. Avoid seasoning powders, overly salty sauces, and opt for steamed or boiled dishes instead of heavily salted braises. Also, it's important to drink at least 1.5 liters of water per day to help maintain fluid balance and flush out excess sodium. The salty diet habit doesn't just harm cardiovascular and kidney health, it is also a direct cause of muscle cramps, which can disrupt sleep, cause pain, and significantly reduce quality of life. Reducing salt intake is not only beneficial for overall health, but also helps improve sleep quality and reduce the frequency of nighttime cramps. 2. Coffee, strong tea, and caffeine, the silent diuretic that depletes minerals and triggers cramps. Morning coffee, afternoon tea, these seemingly harmless habits may be the hidden culprits behind painful nighttime calf cramps that wake older adults from their sleep. Many seniors enjoy tea after meals or coffee for alertness, but these routines can unintentionally introduce high amounts of caffeine into the body, a stimulant that significantly affects the nervous system and muscles. Caffeine has a mild diuretic effect, causing the body to excrete water and minerals such as potassium, magnesium, and calcium more rapidly through urine. Even mild dehydration can disrupt electrolyte balance, especially in older adults whose fluid regulation mechanisms are less efficient, making muscles more susceptible to sudden contractions and spasms. But caffeine's effects don't stop there. It also stimulates the adrenal glands to release adrenaline, increasing nervous system activity and causing blood vessels to constrict. This restricts blood flow to the legs and might reducing the oxygen supply to already weakened muscle tissues and triggering a tightening reaction as the body tries to conserve energy, leading to painful cramps without warning. Another crucial factor is caffeine's impact on sleep. Seniors tend to have lighter, more fragmented sleep. Drinking coffee or strong tea in the afternoon or evening can further reduce deep sleep duration, preventing muscles from recovering properly. Combined sleep disruption and mineral loss create the perfect storm for leg cramps to strike. According to the Mayo Clinic, individuals who consume more than 300 milligrams of caffeine per day have a 45% higher risk of nighttime leg cramps compared to non-consumers. For older adults, even a small cup of coffee can produce effects lasting 6 to 8 hours, increasing the likelihood of muscle spasms. To manage this risk, elimination isn't necessary, but moderation and timing are key. Avoid coffee or strong tea after 2 p.m. Choose low-caffeine options, lighter brews, or herbal teas. Never substitute coffee for plain drinking water. Drink enough water daily to compensate for caffeine-related fluid loss. Increase intake of potassium and magnesium-rich foods like bananas, avocados, and nuts. The alertness caffeine provides is temporary, but the discomfort of cramps can linger for hours, causing muscle soreness and disrupting restorative sleep. Therefore, timing and dosage are crucial for older adults to enjoy the benefits of caffeine while still protecting the health and function of their legs. 3. Alcoholic beverages, a social habit that disrupts neuromuscular balance and triggers sudden cramps. Whether during holidays, weddings, or a weekend meal, alcohol, such as beer and wine, often remains part of social customs. However, for older adults, whose nervous systems and metabolic functions are no longer as efficient, even a small amount of alcohol can result in serious consequences: nighttime leg cramps, lingering soreness, and prolonged insomnia. Alcohol acts as a strong diuretic, causing rapid fluid and electrolyte loss, especially potassium and magnesium. When these essential minerals are depleted, muscles become overly sensitive and more prone to uncontrolled contractions. Moreover, alcohol directly affects the peripheral nervous system, which transmits signals between the brain and the limbs. When signal transmission is disrupted, muscle fibers may become misactivated, triggering cramps at inappropriate times. Additionally, alcohol causes blood vessels to dilate and then constrict erratically, reducing blood and oxygen flow to the muscles, which further stimulates pain and unexpected cramping. Even more concerning is alcohol's effect on sleep quality. Although many believe alcohol helps them fall asleep, the reality is that it disrupts deep sleep, the critical period when the body repairs and replenishes minerals. This leads to incomplete rest, muscle fatigue, and a higher likelihood of cramps the following day. A study found that older adults who consumed alcohol daily, even just 1 to 2 drinks, were 3 times more likely to suffer from cramps compared to non-drinkers, especially if they also had underlying conditions like high blood pressure, liver issues, or were taking diuretics. Solutions: limit or completely avoid alcohol, especially in the evening. If consuming, do so during the day and no more than 1 drink per week. Drink plenty of water and eat potassium-rich fruits like bananas or watermelon to replenish lost minerals. Never drink on an empty stomach. A single glass of wine may bring fleeting joy, but the cost may be a sudden, painful cramp in the middle of the night, along with increased risk of falls or blood pressure spikes. For seniors, reducing alcohol not only protects the liver and heart, but also helps preserve muscle relaxation and uninterrupted sleep. 4. Refined sugar and overly sweet foods, a sweetness that depletes minerals and triggers cramps. For older adults, a piece of cake after a meal, a glass of sugarcane juice on a summer day, or a spoonful of condensed milk and coffee often brings a sense of comfort and familiarity. Yet behind this sweetness lies a hidden danger. It can silently impair muscle health and cause unexpected leg cramps, especially at night. Most sweet treats today contain refined sugars, usually in the form of sucrose from cane sugar or fructose from industrial corn syrup. Once inside the body, these sugars rapidly raise blood glucose levels, prompting the pancreas to release insulin to regulate them. This metabolic process consumes large amounts of essential minerals such as magnesium, potassium, and calcium, all critical for muscle contraction and relaxation. In seniors, The ability to absorb and store minerals declines with age. As a result, consuming a high dose of sugar in a short time can deplete mineral levels faster than the body can replenish them. This often leads to low blood magnesium and potassium, triggering irregular muscle contractions, particularly in vulnerable areas like the calves and soles of the feet. Excess sugar in the bloodstream also binds to proteins, forming glycation end products that reduce the elasticity of connective tissues, including tendons and muscles. As these tissues become stiff and rigid, normal stretching during movement, or even rest, becomes difficult, leading to sudden and prolonged cramps. Moreover, refined sugar promotes chronic inflammation throughout the body. In muscles and nerves, prolonged inflammation disrupts nerve signal transmission, causing spasms at inappropriate times. A study published in a nutrition science journal found that individuals with high sugar diets had significantly higher inflammatory markers and a 40% higher risk of muscle cramps, especially those with diabetes or peripheral neuropathy. In diabetic seniors, sugar also reduces blood flow to the extremities, damaging nerves in the legs and feet. This contributes to numbness, dull pain, and nighttime cramps without any obvious cause. If not properly managed, these symptoms can worsen over time and severely impact quality of life. Foods high in refined sugar include cakes, desserts, soda, energy drinks, jam, candy, condensed milk, sweetened yogurt, and instant cereals. A single can of soda may contain up to 35 grams of sugar, which far exceeds the WHO's recommended daily limit for older adults, no more than 25 grams, about 6 teaspoons. To manage sugar intake, reduce refined sugar in your daily diet. Replace it with natural sugars from fresh fruits like apples, grapefruit, and guava. Choose low-sugar desserts such as unsweetened yogurt, nuts, avocado, or sapodilla. Avoid sugary soft drinks. Opt for water or coconut water in moderation. Increase your intake of leafy greens, nuts, and fruits rich in magnesium and potassium to restore mineral balance. The sweetness of refined sugar may bring instant gratification, but overuse can drain your minerals, reduce muscle elasticity, and trigger long-term inflammation, a hidden cause of painful cramps in older adults. Adjusting sugar habits is not only preventive care, but also essential for a restful sleep, steady steps, and a calm, balanced mind every day. 5. Carbonated soft drinks and phosphate-containing foods, the invisible chemicals that deplete calcium and trigger muscle cramps. Cool, fizzy, and refreshing, carbonated soft drinks deliver instant enjoyment with the first sip. But for older adults, this type of beverage is a hidden threat to mineral balance, significantly increasing the risk of leg cramps, often without being recognized. The main culprit? Phosphates, a widespread food additive commonly found in soft drinks and many processed foods. Phosphates, especially in the form of phosphoric acid, E338, used in sodas, interfere with calcium absorption in the small intestine. When the body cannot absorb enough calcium from food, it is forced to extract calcium from the bones to maintain blood levels. This depletion leads to calcium deficiency in muscle tissue, impairing contraction and relaxation and causing muscle fibers to become unresponsive and prone to painful cramping. Even more concerning, phosphates disrupt intracellular electrolyte balance, affecting cell membranes and essential ion pumps involved in muscle contraction. When muscle cells are exposed to minor stimuli, like changing sleep positions or light walking, they can easily overreact, triggering involuntary cramping. To make matters worse, soft drinks also contain refined sugars, which, as noted earlier, deplete magnesium and promote inflammation in muscle tissue. The combination of sugar and phosphates creates a double hit, reducing the absorption of calcium and magnesium while increasing the risk of inflammatory, dysfunctional muscle contractions. For older adults with underlying conditions like osteoporosis, diabetes, or kidney disease, the consequences are even more severe. Soft drinks aren't the only concern. Phosphates are also hidden in sausages, processed ham, industrial cheese, packaged sweets, ice cream, commercial breakfast cereals, and dairy products with additives. Without careful label reading, older adults may unknowingly consume excessive amounts. To manage this risk, completely avoid carbonated soft drinks, including low-sugar or zero versions. Choose plain water, unsweetened fruit juices, or natural mineral water. Increase intake of calcium-rich foods like leafy greens, sesame seeds, almonds, and unsweetened dairy. Always read product labels and avoid ingredients like phosphate, baking powder, or E338. One can of soda might bring a moment of cool refreshment, but it may come at the cost of intense nighttime cramping, interrupted sleep, and a decline in overall quality of life. Saying no to a harmful beverage and choosing clean, mineral-rich water instead is one of the simplest yet most powerful choices an older adult can make to protect their legs, sleep, and long-term health. 6. Processed meats and nitrate-rich foods, the hidden triggers behind neuromuscular disruptions and sudden leg cramps. In today's fast-paced world, foods like sausages, deli meats, industrial ham, Chinese sausages, and bacon have become everyday staples, not just for convenience, but also for their rich, appealing flavor. However, for older adults, these processed meats carry hidden health risks, notably an increased likelihood of leg cramps, a complication rarely discussed but commonly experienced. The primary cause lies in the chemical additives used during processing, particularly nitrates and nitrites. These compounds preserve color, extend shelf life, and inhibit bacterial growth. Yet once ingested, nitrates can convert into nitrosamines, some of which are mildly neurotoxic, affecting peripheral nerves and small blood vessels, especially in the lower limbs. Nitrates can cause vasoconstriction, reducing blood flow to the muscles in the legs. When muscle tissue lacks sufficient oxygen due to poor circulation, cells shift to anaerobic respiration, accumulating lactic acid, an ideal condition for triggering painful muscle cramps. In addition to restricting blood flow, nitrates disrupt intracellular electrolyte balance, compromising the function of ion pumps on muscle cell membranes. When these pumps fail to regulate properly, even minor stimuli, like shifting sleeping positions or standing after sitting, can cause abnormal muscle contractions. In seniors, where neuromuscular regulation is already impaired, the risk is even higher. Furthermore, processed meats are often high in sodium, which has been shown to increase the excretion of potassium and magnesium, two minerals crucial for stabilizing the neuromuscular system. Prolonged mineral depletion leads to heightened muscle sensitivity and difficulty relaxing after activity. To make matters worse, processed meats commonly contain saturated fats, from fatty cuts, skin, or industrial cooking oils, which promote low-grade inflammation in the body. This chronic inflammation weakens muscle fibers and tendons, making them less elastic and more prone to spasms. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition revealed that individuals consuming over 100 grams of processed meat daily had twice the risk of experiencing cramps compared to those eating less than 30 grams, especially among adults over 60. Over time, preservatives and additives also weaken the liver and kidneys, two vital organs for filtering toxins and regulating electrolytes. When these organs underperform, the likelihood of cramping increases substantially. Another important point: processed meats offer little to no essential minerals, such as potassium, magnesium, or calcium, nutrients that help muscles function smoothly. In contrast, whole foods like vegetables, fish, legumes, and fruits provide ample minerals to support healthy nerves and reduce muscle pain. Helpful advice: minimize intake of sausages, industrial ham, deli meats, and Chinese sausages. Carefully read product labels and avoid additives like E250, sodium nitrite, and E252, potassium nitrate. Opt for fresh meats and cook by steaming, boiling, or light grilling. Pair meals with boiled vegetables, soup, or porridge for added fiber and minerals. Eat more potassium and magnesium-rich foods like spinach, pumpkin seeds, bananas, and soybeans. A quick meal of sausages or cold cuts may save time, but it may also cost a painful, sleepless night due to cramps. Switching from processed to natural foods is one of the most effective strategies to keep your legs strong, flexible, and cramp-free well into old age. 7. Fried foods and saturated fats, the silent culprits behind muscle inflammation, weakness, and increased cramps in older adults. There's no denying the appeal of fried foods. Crispy fish, spring rolls, fried chicken, French fries, or shrimp chips often evoke not just delicious flavors, but also fond childhood memories and long-standing dietary habits. Yet behind that crunchy golden crust lies a silent threat to neuromuscular health, especially for aging legs that are already losing strength. Fried foods are typically loaded with saturated fats, especially when cooked using animal fat or reused cooking oil. Saturated fats stimulate low-grade inflammation throughout the body. When chronic inflammation persists, inflammatory mediators like cytokines, TNF-alpha, and interleukin-6 directly affect muscle tissue and peripheral nerves, reducing muscle elasticity and impairing recovery. This makes muscles more prone to involuntary contractions triggered by simple movements, like stretching during sleep or walking lightly. Moreover, saturated fats interfere with the absorption of magnesium, a mineral essential for calming the neuromuscular system. When magnesium levels drop, nerve and muscle fibers become hypersensitive, increasing the risk of reflexive muscle cramps, especially at night or after minimal exertion. Another critical concern is how unhealthy fats increase blood viscosity. Thicker blood slows down circulation, especially to the lower limbs, which are furthest from the heart. Poor blood flow reduces oxygen supply to muscle tissue, forcing cells to switch to anaerobic respiration, which produces lactic acid, a key contributor to muscle soreness and cramps. High-heat frying also generates oxidative compounds such as aldehydes, acrolein, and trans fats, all of which damage muscle cell membranes and disrupt intracellular ion stability. This ionic imbalance makes muscles more prone to unregulated, painful contractions. Even worse, fried foods are often paired with salty seasonings, sugar, or bouillon powder, which raise sodium levels and increase urinary loss of potassium and magnesium. For seniors taking diuretics or managing hypertension or kidney issues, the impact is magnified, leading to more frequent, prolonged, and difficult-to-recover cramps. A study from Tufts University, USA, found that seniors consuming fried foods more than 3 times per week had over 60% higher risk of leg cramps, especially among postmenopausal women, a group already at risk for osteoporosis, mineral loss, and natural muscle decline. Practical solutions: reduce fried food intake, opting instead for steamed, boiled, baked, or stewed alternatives. Use healthy vegetable oils like olive oil, canola oil, or sesame oil. Avoid animal fats. Never reuse oil that's been fried multiple times. Incorporate anti-inflammatory, magnesium-rich foods like leafy greens, salmon, avocado, turmeric, and flax seeds. Eat meals on time. Avoid skipping meals and overeating fried foods afterward, which burdens your metabolism. Fried dishes may satisfy your palate in the moment, but the cost may be a sleepless night, intense calf cramps, or day-long leg fatigue. Reducing fried food consumption doesn't just help prevent cramps, it also protects heart health, reduces inflammation, stabilizes blood sugar, and supports overall well-being, something every older adult deserves to prioritize. Conclusion: adjusting the diet, the key to controlling leg cramps in older adults. Leg cramps are not merely temporary muscle spasms. They are signs of deeper internal imbalances, ranging from mineral deficiencies and muscle inflammation to neurological disorders and circulatory issues. For seniors in particular, frequent cramping doesn't just cause pain and sleepless nights, it also affects mental well-being, reduces mobility, increases the risk of falls, and significantly lowers overall quality of life. Diet plays a central role in managing and preventing leg cramps. The regular consumption of inappropriate food groups, such as salty foods, refined sugars, caffeine, alcohol, carbonated drinks, processed meats, and fried foods, can disrupt the body's internal balance, reduce the muscle's natural flexibility, and lead to more frequent and severe cramping episodes. In contrast, with proper dietary adjustments, limit foods high in sodium, preservatives, sugars, alcohol, and saturated fats. Prioritize fresh foods rich in potassium, magnesium, and natural calcium, such as leafy greens, fresh fruits, nuts, fish, and unsweetened dairy. Drink enough water throughout the day, split into multiple small servings. Maintain light physical activity and keep the body, especially the feet and legs, warm at night. Get adequate sleep and avoid stimulants after 2 p.m. Consistency in dietary and lifestyle changes can bring noticeable improvements within just a few weeks. Reduced cramping episodes, better sleep quality, and a lighter, more comfortable sensation in the legs. There's no need for expensive medications or complicated therapies. Choosing the right foods is often enough for older adults to combat leg cramps and enjoy a healthy, peaceful daily life. Cutting down a bit on salt, sugar, and greasy foods brings you one step closer to stronger health and lighter, more confident steps in your golden years.